Good morning, good afternoon, every participants. You are welcome to participate the annual conference of TIEMS. That's the session 5, natural hazard and climate change. So now, so the first I would like to say you're welcome to participate. And the second, I would like to thanks a lot for our France TIEMS chapter for the technical support for the resiliency France and Jean Monnet. So the first speaker, Ms. Liu Minghui. Ms. Liu Minghui has come from Public Meteorological Service Center of China, and her education include BA and MS in physical geography from Shandong Normal University, and a PhD from Peking University. She has worked with the Public Meteorological Service Center since 2009, and in her role with National Early Warning Center since 2017. She has expertise in socio-economic benefits assessment of public weather service, benefit evaluation of meteorological disaster prevention and reduction, communication effective evaluation about public alerting. She has a vast knowledge and experience as expert evaluator of assessing technology, research and development, data analysis, and project management. So today's topic of Ms. Liu is a preliminary study on benefit evaluation of disaster prevention of rainstorm based on integrated disaster risk government models. So now you are welcome to make a presentations. Please, Ms. Liu.
Thanks, Professor Chu, and hello everyone. I first share the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so glad to share a recent work in this conference. This work is supported by two national key research and development programs and one construction project from China Meteorological Administration. My presentation have 4 parts. The first is the introduction. China experiences many types of natural disaster each year. Among these, rainstorms have one of the greatest impact across in the country. Rainstorms are strongly seasonal, occurring mainly during the summer to autumn in mainland China. They can cause significant damage and loss directly and from secondary disasters such as landslide. The meteorological definition of torrential rain hereinafter rainstorms is precipitation in excess of 50 millimeters over 24 hours. Rainstorms is one of the most common meteorological disaster in China. According to the statistics in this year, from January to September, there are 55 heavy precipitation weather events in China, causing 21 floods in major rivers all around the world, all around China. This was 13% more than the average of the over the same period. Each year, there are a large amount of labor and resources are used to deal with the rainstorm disasters. A significant understanding of how to measure the benefits of meteorological services in rainstorm disaster prevention and mitigation is an important goal of this work. This work was based on the integrated disaster risk governance theory and the characteristics of China's meteorological disaster prevention and reduction mechanisms, which is the government lead, sector linkage, and public participation disaster prevention system in China. This work is wanted to celebrate comprehensive assessment of rainstorms of meteorological services. The evaluation of the benefit of rainstorm disaster prevention and mitigation focused on not only the meteorological services, but also the effectiveness of the rainstorm's defense behavior. According to the mechanism of China disaster prevention and reduction, the characters, we established the evaluation index systems and calculate with the selected indicators. The first indicators, the first part indicators is the evaluation of rainstorm meteorological services. A comprehensive assessment of rainstorm meteorological services was used to identify and score the specific evaluation index. The effect of the rainstorm meteorological services was divided into different levels and assigned a value to obtain an overall score for each indicators. This metrics is not only include the accuracy of the forecast, but also the social feedback, such as public feedback and social media feedback. The second part indicators is about the rainstorm defense behavior evaluation indicators. The evaluation of the benefit of rainstorm defense behavior was based on the government lead and sector linkage and social participation disaster prevention system. From this, the overall organization level and the disaster prevention and the mitigation capabilities were calculated using the metrics established in this research. The specific evaluation indicators system is shown in this table. Is not is including three parts: the government guidance and the department interactions and public participations, and each metrics have some second level metrics to support the first level metrics, and then together with overall key indicators about the defensive behavior evaluation. The third part is the calculation of the benefit value of disaster prevention and reduction for rainstorms meteorological services. The benefit value from the rainstorm meteorological services is usually calculated with two indicators which measure the reduction in the number of the casualties and the wide economic losses. The calculation data, the basic data in this project usually use the official statistics data from the Ministry of Emergency Management of the People's Republic of China, and the survey data from an independent survey company. The main calculation index are included three parts. The first is the reduction in the number of the casualties toll. And the second is the reduction in economic losses. The third is the integrated benefit value of rainstorm meteorological services for disaster prevention and reduction. These three calculation formula is based on the previous work we have also used in tropical cyclone meteorological services, and used in this work, we also used in the rainstorm meteorological services benefit. In 2018, investigation was carried out by the China Meteorological Administration Public Weather Service Center in association with an independent survey company. This research surveyed 3,000 members of the public and more than 600 government and linkage staff, giving a total of more than 4,000 valid samples through four rainstorm process and covered the province about Anhui, Henan, Jiangsu, Shandong, Sichuan, Gansu, Shanxi, Beijing, and Liaoning. These four rainstorm process is mainly in the summer rainy season. We choose this four process to take the survey and calculate the basic data to evaluate the benefit of disaster prevention and reduction from the rainstorm meteorological services. Based on the survey data and the official statistics data, we calculated the result. The first part is the damage and losses from the rainstorm. We used from the Ministry of Emergency Management in China. The second part is the public evaluation of rainstorm meteorological services. According to the results of the public weather service services, public satisfaction with the rainstorms meteorological services was lower than the meteorological services satisfaction in 2018, which was 89.8. These four rainstorm process, the public satisfaction is according to 78.5 to 86.4. Is a little lower than the average of the whole year public satisfaction. In terms of the public evaluation of the four indicators, we also have the accuracy, timelessness, practical and convince of the meteorological services. The overall evaluation score was also lower than the average value released by the CMA and the National Bureau of the National Bureau of Statistics of China.
Could you please finish in 3 minutes, Mingue?
Okay. The rainstorm meteorological services evaluation results and the rainstorm defense behavior evaluation about the government and the sectors linkage is in this in this figure. We can see the two evaluation index systems are not created in the same way, but it's similar and in the different between the between the two investigation. According to the method, we calculated the benefit value of disaster prevention and reduction for rainstorms meteorological services because the casual total is more sensitivities. So we not list in this presentation, and others, each public saving losses is quite different from different rainstorm process and a different area in China. Under the comprehensive benefit value of disaster prevention, mitigation and mitigation is between the different billion yuan from 0.2 and to 61.5 billion. There are not noticeable difference among the different rainstorms. The last part is the calculation. The rainstorm meteorological services value of the effectiveness of disaster prevention. There are many specific detail needed to adjust and improve. I think a future study we should carry out, investigate the relationship between some of the funding in this research. Finally, the comparison of the evaluation results needs further verification and testing and to understanding more scientifically. Thanks for your attention. That's all.
You have to unmute, Gersheng. We don't hear you. We don't hear you.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. So here, you can hear me?
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your excellent presentation. And we have in this session we have 3 topics. So and after we finish the 3 topics, we have a question and answer period. So and finally we have the question and answers. So and now we welcome the second speakers, Christoph Digst Sago. His presentations is about perceived impact of climate change and vulnerability on livelihoods of smallholder farmers in Lesotho. So please, you can introduce yourself and let us know what's your work and what's your research. Please begin.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, can you see my screen?
Can you make full screen? Can
you
make
yes, I'm sharing. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Could you please make a full screen? We
full
only
screen.
have
full screen.
Yeah.
Full
screen.
Okay. Okay. Is that okay?
Okay, no problem. So begin. Let's begin.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Chairman, the co-chairman, and colleague presenters, and the general listener. My name is Dr. Christopher Dixego from the National University of Lesotho, and I'm here to present on the perceived impact of climate change and variability on livelihoods of smallholder farmers in Lesotho. So to begin with, I will say that climate change is a menace, and just as it's in different countries, it's also here. And when you look into Notre Dame global adaptation metrics, you will see that Lesotho is 14th most vulnerable climate change country in the world. And it means that it's very vulnerable. And at the same time, it's the 51, it has the 51st least ready country to improve resilience to climate change. So it means that it doesn't have, the country is facing climate change threats, but it has very little strength to deal with climate change. And we can see, because my studies on farmers, I decided to look into crop farming. So you can see that crop farming has been reducing. As you can see, the statistics is now it's contracted by 9.7% in 2018 after a long drought, which came in which Lesotho experienced, and this has affected the contribution of agriculture in general to the GDP of the country. And not surprisingly, the budget statement, which was released this year, even made that statement, and that's because of climate change, food production has reduced by 76%. So from 2018 and 2019, and these are serious issues that need to be addressed. Now, the next question is, why is it important to look into farmers' perception on climate change? Well, we see that this is a country that depends solely on farming. More than 70% of the rural population are into farming. And this can be supported by World Bank's publication in 2019. And we can see that climate change is also, as we have already said, is also impacting on these people and their livelihoods, I mean the farmers. And this has even caused them to be poor and poorer, right? It's rather because it's attacking their livelihoods and their source of making what money. So, and at the same time, we can also see that water resources have also greatly diminished. You know, agriculture cannot distance itself from water resources because they need water resources for their crops and at the same time animals and other things. So water resources in general is also going down, which was also identified by the National Climate Change Policy for Lesotho, which was made in which was published in 2019. No, 2017. Sorry. Yeah. So these are issues that need to be addressed, and we could also see that the adaptation strategies that the government has tried to implement is not really touching on ground. Touching on ground in the sense that the farmers who are supposed to using this strategy or something to reduce the effects of climate change on their livelihoods are more or less not taking it. And we saw that the reason is that they have not been actively involved in some of these strategies that they are using. And though this is stated clearly that the government is going to promote participation of especially the vulnerable ones in decisions and plans and everything concerning climate change and adaptation policies in the country. So we can see that there is a need to include these farmers, especially in this particular issue, which is already affecting their livelihoods. Because knowing about the farmers and their perception can rather inform the government to reshape the adaptation strategies that he is currently using, so that it will better speak to the people and the understanding, and at least it will also capture the local technology that they are already using, which is not powerful enough to help them fight the impact of climate change on their livelihood. So as I've already discussed, we have seen this has really given you a picture of how climate change is really affecting farming activities. So that is one thing that I also brought some studies which confirms that farmers are really losing in terms of their crop farming with respect to climate change. So we can see that there's rainfall is being seasonal and you can't predict it. And there are droughts also, extreme heat, and we also have decreased crop production levels and all these things. And so this is really affecting these farmers. In another sense, we can also see that farmers have to even adjust their planting calendar. And when they adjust the planting calendar, it means that the period for planting becomes shortened, and farmers are not able to plant a lot and to meet the food needs of their family and also that of the rest of their country. So let's see, by definition of adaptation, what I considered for this particular study. By adaptation to climate change, we mean a correct adjustment to climate change and variability for smallholder farmers to enhance resilience or reduce the vulnerability of the effects associated with climate change. And this was taken by Fadaro ATAL in 2019. So there are so many adaptation strategies which are crop-based that farmers in general use, especially in Africa. So one is the growing improved crop variety, growing early maturing crops and those things. We have a lot here, and even planting trees in the farm to serve as shade against severe temperatures. And also some farmers are using fruit trees, which provide some form of food, so that when their crops are not able to yield the necessary amount of food that they wanted, maybe they can use this tree fruit, eat it at least to support them, and also to sell some, and also to use it to serve as a windbreak. That is one, and two, also to reduce effects of erosion on their farms. So as methodology, so the methodology we used is cross-sectional design, and the primary structured interview guides were used, and all the 10 districts in Lesotho were used, and 200 farmers were picked, especially those with 15 years and more. And the analysis was also done using Likert scale. So we can see that from this particular place, we are looking into the results, and we can see that males were dominating, and most of the farmers were below 40 years, meaning they are youthful. And we can also talk about the years in cropping, and we saw that most of them have less than 20 years in the cropping business. Like they've been planting for, they've been farming for, let's say, less than 20 years. And this even confirms that because agriculture is really reducing, even the policy for national climate change policy even talks about this, that it's really going down. I think because of some of these reasons, people are rather moving into other areas of get their livelihoods rather than depending on agriculture, which is not even yielding much for them. And they have smaller land sizes, and their household sizes are also very small. So from there, let's see how the farmers perceive evidence or their experiences and evidence of climate change as far as their livelihood is concerned. We saw that they are really complaining of drying up rivers and streams, because of the severe droughts that the country experienced. And then we have also delayed onset of rainfall. These are from in a hierarchical order, from the highest to the lowest. So their major problem is the drying up of streams, and then delayed onset of rainfall. And then they also have severe frost and cold. But during winter time, it's very, very cold here. I don't think it can be compared to, but sometimes we go to -5, negative, which is not compared to Europe, but in African setting, I think it's cold here. And it also affects the crops and those things here. And we also have low rainfall which here, and strong winds, which is also another problem the farmers also talked about. And the warmer temperatures. So the rest are also there. So we can move on to that. So these are the perceived evidence or the evidence that farmers are seeing as to support climate change. So now we move to the perceived impact of climate change on their livelihood. Now the farmers are complaining that because of these things that we mentioned, they are having declining crop yield. Their crop yields are declining. That is the first problem they talked about. Because when you get declining crop yields, you will not have enough to even eat and even sell some. And you also have below normal yield. Their produce are of less quality. You see, they are supposed to have certain weight, but these produce are not having that quantity, that weight. And they also have problems concerning increased attack of pests and diseases. These are also another problem that they also having. And they also having crop failure. In some instances, the crop will fail completely and they will not have anything from it. And the last was high post-harvest losses. So these are what these smallholder farmers are going through. And you remember, these smallholder farmers do not have enough resources to or financial.
Christopher, can you please finalize in 3 minutes?
Okay, thank you very much. So these are the adaptation strategies they are using, as has been listed there. You can see use of fertilizer, the organic and inorganic methods they are using it. They're also using soil conservation methods and other methods. You can all see them here. And one thing about these things is that these are all strategies which are not strong enough to fight the impacts that they are really going through. So now the study is trying to say that, as conclusion, we are trying to say that farmers are really going through a lot of problems, these challenges, which is challenging their livelihood. So it's very important that the country do something to really, especially the government, do something to really deal with these things. Especially the government is already, as stated in the national climate change policy, the government is already aware of these challenges the farmers are going through, and has even made it as part of the objective to ensure participation of vulnerable groups in climate change related issues. but and also to increase the capacity of farmers to cope with drought and floods, which is also affecting their livelihood. But we are not seeing these things truly happening. So that is a big question that I would like to throw to the policymakers, that once they've made this inside their policy, they should make sure that this thing is implemented, especially participation of farmers, so that their inputs, their ideas, and those things will be captured into the designing of a stronger national adaptation strategy, so that there can also be their livelihood will also be protected, and they will move them out of poverty. Thank you very much. I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you for your excellent presentation. And also after the last speakers, we make some questions and answers. So, and here I would like to introduce the third speakers, Pradit Newley. He comes from Thailand, has topic has community-based landslide watch networks in Thailand. So please, you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mm.
Could
Did you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Mhm.
And could you show your, yes, okay. So please continue. You can share your PPT to the participants. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you see my presentation?
No, we haven't.
It begins. It begins. It is moving. No. Try again.
So I think maybe first you can with the
Can you see my
audio.
presentation?
No, we haven't.
Oh.
Just wait, it's actually loading. Just wait. I guess we will have it. Or maybe not.
Could you maybe, Mr. Nulai, could you change slide maybe?
Okay.
Try. We have a black screen shared by you.
Okay.
Try to put it in full screen maybe if you are able, because we have a sharing but it's black screen.
Just not.
Try to share it and put it in full screen without staying shared. Try again. We will try to pick up your. Did you send your PPT to our organization?
Yeah. I sent to.
Here the send has a PPT to me.
No, we have Goshen.
Yeah, we have it. We'll load the.
We are seeking
presentation. Yeah.
We will share from Paris.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Have you got it, Alain?
Gumbo.
Yeah.
Could you share his
PPT? Will share it. Yeah.
In your part?
Again, please.
Yes. The organization will share.
Maybe you can tell a little bit about yourself while we're
Okay.
waiting for that.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Padit Nure. I am a senior geologist from the Department of Mineral Resources of Thailand. On my topic today, I will talk about my work in the landslide problem in Thailand, what we have been done to dealing with the landslide problem in my country. So I will show you in the presentation.
Manon or Alain, do you achieve to find the presentation of Mr. Nulai?
Yeah, got it, but I have to restart Zoom to share it.
Okay, good.
Hello? Could you
Oh,
see
okay,
your PPT?
okay.
Yes, okay, I can
see.
share.
Okay,
I
Thank
can
you.
share with yours.
Thank you,
okay,
Gokhan. Thank
okay,
you.
okay,
Yeah, continue.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. My topic today is community-based landslide watch network in Thailand. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, today I will
So,
talk about. Okay. Today I will talk about my work that I have been done in Thailand to dealing with the landslide problem in my country. A topic that I gonna present today. The first one I will talk about introduction and no, back please. Second one, I will talk about the landslide hazards in Thailand, and finally, I will talk about landslide watch network in Thailand. Okay, next slide, please. Next, please. Okay, let's have a look at the Thailand. Where is Thailand? My country is Thailand is a tropical area, which is composed of 76 provinces. We have 3 seasons in Thailand, with the rainy season is starting from May to October. That is in generally. But for the southern part of Thailand, maybe the rainy season is longer, maybe starting from May to November. Okay. And after that is the cool weather season, which is starting from the November to February. And then finally, the summertime in Thailand is start from February to April. So in my country, we have faced with the landslide hazards problem. From our record of the landslide event in Thailand, every event is caused by the high rainy season, the high rainfall in the rainy season, especially in the mountainous area of the Thailand, which is mostly in the northern part of Thailand, and then extend to the western part, and then go to the southern part, and some part in the north central of Thailand. Next slide, please. Okay. Okay. This slide, I will show you the last event landslide that we have been found in Thailand. The first event that we have the record in Thailand is start in 1988 in the southern of the Thailand. Which is 242 people were killed from the landslide in this event. And after that, in 2001, we have the big landslide in the north center of the Thailand in Lomsak area, with more than 130 people were killed from the rough landslide, this event. After that, in 2001, also in the northern part of Thailand, in Bang Chin area, this event, 47 people were killed. And then in 2004, in northern part also, in Malamat area, which is the 5 people were killed. And then in 2006, in northern part again, 80 people were killed from this landslide in Uttarakhand, Phra, and Sukhothai province. In 2011, 12 people were killed from the landslide in Krabi province in southern of Thailand. In the same year, in northern part, on September of 2011, the 5 people were killed from the landslide in the Nampat area. And then on 23 September 2011, 2 people were killed from the landslide in northern part area. Next slide, please. Okay. This picture shows you the landslide event in Thailand. On top of that, the landslide in Kilawong and Katun province in 1988. You will see that this is the man in the picture. Mostly the landslide source is occur in the mountainous area. So when the landslide occur in the mountainous area, it's moved down to the downstream and deposits in the lowland area, which is the lowland area is the settlement area of the local people. The landslide moved down from the mountainous area and deposit. Oh, sorry, back. Can you back to the? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The land there. Yes. The landslide is moved down from the mountainous area and deposits. No. Can you back please to the previous slide? Oh no. Yes. The landslide in 2001 in Phetchabun, you will see that the border of the rock and the tree trunk is moved down from the mountainous area and deposits in the settlement area of the local people and destroy the housing right in the lower part. And then they can kill the local people who live in this area. Next slide, please. Okay. The main cause of the landslide in our country, we have found that the main cause of the landslide in Thailand is the first one is from the heavy rainfall, which is in every case we have found that the average rainfall is more than 100 millimeters per day. The second one is steep slope gradient in the high than 30 degree radius. And the next one, please. The third one is caused by the thickness layer of the fine sediment layer on the slope. Okay, please, next slide, please. Okay, to cope with the landslide disaster in Thailand, my department have conducted the 2 programs. The first program is the landslide hazard and risk mapping in order to identify the dangerous area. So when we know where is the dangerous area, we try to set up the training program to the local people. We call it the landslide watch network training in order to minimize damage and how to prevent. And to prevent the local people from the landslide. What the concept of the landslide watch network? Can you back to the previous slide, please, Mr. Chairman? Okay. The concept of the landslide watch network is the local people can protect themselves, especially their right from the landslide disaster. This is our concept, a landslide watch network. And how to do that? How to do that? We educate them to know about the landslide, the cause, the impact, the landslide size, and how to observe it and warn the other to save their life. Next slide, please. Yes. What we have been done for landslide watch network in Thailand. So we firstly, we grouping the risky area. Normally, the Thai people who live in the dangerous zones area of the landslide area, mostly they live in the front of the hill, right? They live in the group of the village. For example, the village who live in upstream and live in downstream, we set them at the group of the village. The group of village in the upstream and the group of the village of the downstream. So, and after that, we have a meeting with the group of the network like this. We invite them to join our meeting, and then we transfer them the knowledge about the geohazards, and connect them between the upstream village with the downstream village. And try to compile their early warning and evacuate the plan. Every plan, every map, we join together with the local people. Can you back to the previous slide, Mr. Chairman? Can you back to the previous slide? Yes. Could you please move to the next slide? After I tell you to the next slide. Okay, move to the next slide, please. Okay. We work with the local people to manage how to evacuate and how to monitor the cause of the landslide. In this picture, I will show you we try to install the simple rain gate. Why we call it the simple rain gate? Because with the rain gate, the local people, they can learn. We use the color. We use the color bar. Mr. Chairman, could you back to, okay. We use the simple color, the color bar. For example, if the rainfall is fall, and then the local people, they can measure in the blue one and the green one, that means the normal situation. But if the rainfall is higher at the blue level, which is about 100 millimeter to 150 millimeter per day. So they should not see that the people who live in the risky area should be evacuated. But if the rainfall it fall continue at the less color, if you see, we have the red color bar here.
We have 2 minutes.
Yeah. We have a red color, and then the people have to evacuate to the safe place. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is our work with the local people. With okay. When we get the data from the rain gate, simple rain gate, the guard of the village have to inform and warn the people who live in the village and the outer village at the downstream. Next slide, please. Mr. Chairman. Okay. This is a flow chart of our network that we have been done with the local people. First, we work with the install the rainfall monitoring and stream monitoring by the local people. When the local people, they catch up the sign of the landslide, they have to inform the heads of the village. The heads of the village, they distribute the warning by using the village speaker or the siren. And the village, the heads of the village, they have to inform the downstream village also. Our department, our DMR, Department of Well Resort, we have the support the data, such as the radar data, the satellite image data for the heads of village also. Next slide, please. The statistics of the man-made, this program had established in 2003. You will see that the number of the deaths of the people from the landslide event have decreasing when we set up this program. Next, please. Okay, in my conclusion, the knowledge transfer, the development of manpower, the people participation, and the cooperation between government and the private sector bring to the minimize landslide disaster impact in my country. Thank you very much. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your excellent presentation. Now is the time for question and answers. So I transfer my chairs to Mr. Howard Drager. So you can hold the question and answer sessions. Please.
Could you stop sharing the screen so I see the people? Since we had a little bit problems, you can hear me? Yeah. Since we had a little bit problems with the slides, we lost a little bit time, but we can go 5 minutes into the next session, which is the TIEMS AGM. People will try to connect. So I don't know if it's any way that the organizer, Lorianne, could have warned them that we are 5 minutes late. But the first question, I think it was answered, but this was a question for the first speaker, Mingui. I think you have answered it, but could you tell it to everybody? This is a question from Christine Piguet. How does the state prepare the public for resilience? And we try to stick to 5 minutes, so we have to finish in 5 minutes. The next question is for you, Christopher, if you can look at it on the Q&A button. Mingui, it's your turn to answer the question, please.
Okay. In China, in our unit, there is also have another agency is about a National Early Warning Center. This agency is promoted to deliver all kinds of emergency message to the to China, to public, not only public, but also the stakeholders and sectors linkaged with this emergency early warning or emergency affair affected their. There also have 31 province and 2,500 municipal and county also have the early warning centers to deliver forecast early warning to the public. We also have organization about the we call the meteorological messengers to in local communities, such as the leader of the villager, to support the local people to or avoid the disaster. This is the structure of China disaster prevention and mitigation. We have a powerful organization to deliver all these resilience and mitigations.
Thank you, Mingwei. And Christopher, have you read the question to you? We need to be brief
Yeah.
because we are cutting into the
Okay.
next session, please.
Okay, okay. My answer lies in this slide, and he was asking about the use of permaculture, where farmers are made to use improved versions of seeds to plant, and those are able to resist stress, and then they're able to contain water. So at the end of the day, these plants will still be doing well whilst even there are no rains and other things. And I could not finish going through all the adaptation strategies I mentioned that the farmers are using now. Now they are, if you can see here on I'm using my mouse to go over it. You can see planting of improved stress tolerant and water-saving varieties. The farmers are using this method, but only few of them. You can see that even 90, and most of them even say we don't use it. The reason why is that the reason for this is that that method is good and it works for them, but it's expensive. You know, they cross the border. South Africa is surrounding this country, so they cross the border to buy it from South Africa and then use it. And these are smallholder farmers who cannot afford these improved seeds and seedlings. So they end up, not much of them end up using it, but it's there. That is it.
Okay, can you stop sharing your screen? And there was two questions. Thank you. There were two questions for you, Pradit, but could you, you can answer the first one directly, but I'd like you to give a brief explanation to the second one, which says, can you provide some impact after observation after 2011? Have you any input to give what has happened since 2011? Briefly, please.
So after 2011 until now, we can say that we haven't faced with the big event landslide in Thailand, just the small event. So no one died from the small landslide after the 2011 in our country. So
okay, thank you. There was another question, if you can answer that directly on the screen to the one that answered it, so you could communicate directly. And I like to thank you all for your presentations. It got a little bit rush because we started late. We got a little problem with the slides, but your presentation came good through and you had a good audience. Thank you all for that. And then
thank you all for your presentation.
Then we close this session and we are ready for the TIEMS AGM. Thank you all.